Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am teaching you how to make Puerto Rican style spaghetti. If you're interested, just keep on watching. Okay, so the first step is getting your water to boil for the noodles. So we'll start with the water and adding oil and salt. That way the noodles don't stick together and the pasta comes out seasoned. Don't forget to season your noodles. Okay, so while the water is boiling, let's get started on our sauce. You will need about 1.5 pounds of ground beef, adobo seasoning, Sazon Goya. It's really called Sazon. It's made by Goya, but whatever. I have jarred pasta sauce. We're gonna make it taste really good, so don't worry about it. I have the sofrito we made, some spaghetti. I like thin spaghetti. Also black pepper. We have zucchini and onion and garlic, tomatoes, and some mushrooms. So here I am adding in the ground beef. It was still pretty cold, so it's not gonna mash up well. However, here's my potato masher. I told you guys it's more than just for potatoes. If you've seen my other videos, you'll understand. So I like to mash it up, but since it's still pretty cold, it's not working very well. So I let the meat cook a little bit more, and so now you see it's a little bit easier to kind of smash down. Still pretty cold in the center, so we'll make it work. Anyway, so to that, I will go ahead and add about 4 tablespoons of the sofrito. I don't add it to the pan before my meat. Some people do that. I just don't do it in this case because I don't want it to brown so much or overly cook. I really want it to get into the meat, so I just add it to the meat before it's all cooked. I'll season the meat with the adobo seasoning. Just kind of sprinkle that all around. And the same with my 2 packets of the Sazon seasoning. And then I'll also add the black pepper. So that's pretty much all the seasoning that I use just for the meat, and it will actually season up the entire sauce. You guys will see later I don't really add any more seasoning. So as soon as that's done, I will mash it up with my potato masher there, and I will just keep smashing it until pretty much everything is all combined, and then I'll just let it just sit and just cook. Okay, so the meat is kind of breaking down a little bit more, so I just wanted to show you guys really quickly. I mash up the meat, but not too much. I kind of still leave it chunky just so that it doesn't turn into taco meat. You still want to have some big chunks of meat in there, so just let it go. While the meat is cooking, let's go ahead and move on to our noodles. So water is boiling rapidly. I'll add in the noodles. Typically, if I was just cooking by myself, then I would have broken these noodles in half. However, since I am recording and I have one hand, all the noodles are going in, but that's okay. Sit in water for a little bit, stir it around, and they just go right into the pan. You want to make sure that you do this part because or else the noodles will start burning on the side of the pan. So yeah, so just go ahead, let the noodles kind of do its thing, boil, sit in the little oil and salt bath, cover it, and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so our meat is ready to drain. I'll go ahead and drain it by scooping it out with some of the oil and then putting it into a strainer. That way I can reserve some of the oil for our veggies. All right, so I reserved about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of oil, and I am bringing the heat back up to it so that I can start cooking the rest of our veggies. So the first step will be adding in our onions, and again, you add your onions first without anything else so that they can become translucent and kind of cook on their own. I said translucent. Translucent. So cook them until you see that, and then we'll go ahead and add the rest of the vegetables. Okay, so now that the onions have cooked down, I'll go ahead and add garlic in there, about 2 tablespoons of that. Just gonna mix it all up in here and not leave it in the pan too long because as I've said before, you do not want to leave garlic in the pan too long. It gets burnt, it becomes bitter, it's not good tasting at the end. So I'll just stir it up just enough just to release its lovely aromas. And then I will move very quickly into adding in my other vegetables. So, we'll start right now with the zucchini. So you'll see when I add the zucchini, I chopped it pretty big that way, like in pretty big chunks. That way when it is simmering in the sauce, it still holds its shape. If you cut it too small, you're gonna end up with really mushy zucchini. It's not gonna taste that good. Trust me on this one too. Now moving on to our cherry tomatoes. I sliced them in half. If in some cases that the tomato doesn't fully slice in half, it's okay, no problem. Someone gets a 2-for-1 later, not a big deal. But go ahead and just slice those the best way that you can, and then mix that around. Once again, you don't need to overcook these. You really want the veggies to really hold their shape. So just add them and stir them in. Just cook them for a little bit. Now, this is very lovely, but we'll now add our mushrooms. So again, my favorite, sliced mushrooms. It's good to go. It's really quick and simple. It's easy, still tastes good, I promise. If you want to keep this recipe vegetarian, you completely can. Just omit the meat and just add all these vegetables in. If you did that, I would start with the oil and then the sofrito, then add the onions, garlic, and all the rest of the vegetables as it is. But this would be so delicious as well by its own. If you are going to do that, hold off on doing the Sazon and the adobo seasoning till about this step, just to let the veggies kind of release their own juices and all that yummy good stuff. So yeah, you can totally make this vegan if you wanted to. But I'm gonna add my meat. So go ahead and add the meat back in. All of the flavors from the meat is just going to mix in with all the vegetables, and it's going to taste so, so delicious, I promise. I promise a lot, don't I? Anyway, so yeah, we'll just keep mixing this up, and then we will add our sauce to this, and then we'll just let it simmer. Pretty simple. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and add our sauce in there, and again, it's really not going to taste like this sauce because of all this other seasonings that we've added, so don't worry. If you want to make your own sauce though, please by all means do that. It's fine. This is just really quick and simple and easy, done within 30 minutes. So go ahead and stir everything around. When everything is all mixed up, put a lid on the pan and then just let it simmer. All right, usually I am a sauce and noodle separate kind of girl. However, in this case, because it tastes so good, I want the noodles to soak up all the flavor. So I will mix it all together. So add the noodles with the sauce, stir it all around till it's well mixed. Let it kind of sit there for maybe 5 minutes before you start plating, and trust me, it's so good. Okay, so on to plating. I will use my tongs here and grab a whole bunch of goodies and put it on my plate. I also add this little twist at the end. I don't know. I saw it on the Food Network, and if it's on the Food Network, then it must be right, right? I don't know. All right, well, that's how I've been doing it. So I'll add one more of those to my plate, and then I'll finish it off with some more veggies, and I'll show you guys what it should look like. Okay, here is the final look. It looks so good. It's so colorful, so delicious. I kind of want to make this again. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, please, please, please give me a huge thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below if you tried it, and let me know what you thought. Until next time, enjoy.